From the Irishman shadow boxing pub goers to him having a severe case of alcoholism, here's why Conor McGregor stormed out of the pub. Yep, you heard that right. Conor's out here stirring up controversy again. And I don't know about you, but at this point, I'm not even surprised. This time, Conor got into a scuffle with fans in a pub after his aunt's funeral. The Irishman has been vacationing in New York with his family, but he took a little break to attend his aunt, Pamela's funeral, and he failed to keep his hands to himself. Classic Conor, right? I'm sure you've seen the viral video of the UFC star racing from the venue and being driven off in his 4x4 as kids chase him with cameras and phones. Now, the big question here is, what happened in the pub that made McGregor run away? Because you know he's not one to run, he likes to finish the game. I'm surprised he didn't send anyone to the hospital. Fans say they heard sounds of glass shattering inside the pub before the MMA star lashed out. He was heard saying, get me out of here now." The next thing we know, police were seen arriving at the scene, and they're still investigating the incident. From what it looks like, Conor and his fans started brawling after the UFC star lost his patience. There was some shadowboxing involved, but good thing no one got hurt. Now, on the flip side of things, reports are saying that the Irishman was well-behaved and handled things like a gentleman. Well, that's definitely a first for Conor. Yeah, take the word from the pub that issued a statement in favor of the UFC star. The incident took place at Saddle Club in Birkenhead, Merseyside, England, and it was a funeral that went horribly wrong. But hey, at least Conor was trying to behave, which is at least what the pub is saying. They said that the Notorious was polite and well-mannered to all staff members and was doing everything he should have at the funeral. He was spending his dollar bills on something other than fur coats and Rolexes and donating to certain charities on behalf of his family. This guy was even spending time with fans, taking pictures and signing autographs, all until he was upset by some people present at the event. Now, trust me when I say there's nothing more frightening than a pissed-off Conor McGregor, so it's a good thing he decided to follow protocol and leave the pub before things got worse. I don't know about you, but I'm impressed by the Irishman. Looks like he's making his way back to the top and avoiding controversies, right? Well, sadly, the good boy behavior didn't last long. Ferg, only 12 hours after the incident, Conor took to Twitter and shared an explosive voice note that sent fans into a frenzy. Now that's the Conor we all know. The Irishman was heard saying, "Murder, murder, Scousers on the golly," before declaring in his own voice that Birkenhead is McGregor's, yeah. Fans were left confused as he posted the voice note without any context, so those who weren't keeping up with him and his adventures in Liverpool had no idea what was going on. One fan responded to the viral voice note by writing, "I'm sorry, what the f?" While another decided to slam the UFC star and wrote, "Why can't there be a normal post by Conor? He always gotta post something weird as hell." Well, if you've been keeping up with the athlete for a while, I'm sure this incident didn't come as a surprise to you. This isn't the first pub incident, and spoiler, the last one was much worse. Yep, shadowboxing with fans is one thing to get in trouble for, but not for Conor, because he has punched a 50-year-old man at the pub before. I'm sure you remember this infamous incident from 2019, and just in case you don't, let me tell you exactly what went down. This incident took place at the Marble Arch pub in Dublin. The Irishman walked into the bar and offered everyone shots of his famous Proper 12 Irish whiskey. One man wasn't interested in Conor's offer and refused the shot of whiskey. Boy, did he make a mistake. The pair broke into an argument before Conor lost his cool and punched the hell out of the old guy. Ouch. Now let's not forget that this is a 50-year-old guy I'm talking about here. The Notorious is known in the UFC for having heavy hands, and his punches are brutal for pro MMA fighters, so one can only imagine how a 50-year-old guy took it. The Irishman was faced with several lawsuits over the incident, and he paid a €1,000 fine to avoid jail time. Now that's not a lot of money for McGregor, who deals in millions, but it was sure as hell enough to piss him off. Conor was fumed, and he ended up spending around 1.5 to 2 million euros to purchase the pub. The crazy part? He banned the old man from entering the pub ever again, and that's the kind of petty the Irishman is. I bet you didn't see that coming, did you? This incident is regarded as one of Conor's worst run-ins with the law, but I don't know if you can say the same anymore. Yep, the infamous pub incident has some competition, and that's all thanks to the Irishman going on his controversy-causing spree again. You're probably wondering, what can beat Conor punching a 50-year-old man? Well, how about him violently assaulting a woman? Because the latter definitely takes the cake for his biggest lawsuit yet. The Irishman is no stranger to lawsuits. It's something very common when you're at the top level of fame. He's dealt with many lawsuits throughout his career, but this recent one is really taking a toll on his career. Remember the 2023 NBA Finals, Game 4 between Miami Heat and Denver Nuggets? Apart from some crazy NBA fans, the Notorious was also in the crowd cheering the Heats on and promoting his new pain relief spray title. It was a very eventful night, but things took quite a turn when a woman accused the UFC star of assaulting her in the men's bathroom at the Kaseya Center. This woman was seen partying with Conor and said she was forced inside the bathroom by the arena security, where the Irishman was waiting to take advantage of her. The woman was able to escape, but viral videos from the night show her partying with Conor after the incident too. There's still an open investigation going on. And of course, Conor straight up denied all allegations. He said it's nothing more than a shakedown and is ready to prove his innocence in the court. This incident didn't only tarnish the Irishman's reputation, but is also further delaying his comeback bout. I'm sure you know that Conor's been out of the octagon ever since he broke his leg at UFC 264 when he stepped into the cage with Dustin Poirier. Well, he's all healed and ready to return to the sport. Dana White even announced his next opponent, and it's Michael Chandler, but there's one roadblock on the way, and it's Conor avoiding USADA. The UFC star fell off the anti-doping agency's grid in 2021 after his gruesome leg injury, and he still hasn't found a way back. All athletes are supposed to be in the drug testing pool for at least 6 months before stepping into the cage, and there's no word from Conor getting back in the game. So if I were you, I wouldn't hold my breath for the Irishman to make his comeback later in 2023, as it was originally planned. Now, it's still possible if USADA gives the athlete exemptions, but it doesn't look like it's in the cards for the Irishman, because the agency's very careful and strict with him, all thanks to rumors of him being juiced up. Conor's been losing his mind lately, making one headline after another and breaking one law after one. That NBA game I mentioned, he did much more damage there. Oh yeah, this guy sent a mascot to the hospital, all in the name of a fun promotional skit, just because he couldn't get a hold of himself. Conor's anger outbreaks are getting more frequent by the day, and fans can't help but think it has something to do with his drinking problems. This isn't the first time alcohol has been a problem for the athlete. Remember when he was causing controversy every day ahead of his fight with Khabib Nurmagomedov in 2018? The exact same thing's happening, and fans think it's because of the same reason: alcohol. Think about it. The Irishman is barely ever seen without his beloved whiskey bottle, yet he literally takes it wherever he goes, and trouble follows him everywhere too. Even his aunt's funeral wasn't an exception, and that's something to think about. So there you have it, Fight World. From the Irishman having a severe case of alcoholism to the athlete shadow boxing pub goers, this was why Conor McGregor stormed out of the pub.